Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa. Today I'm doing my final lucky bag in this lucky bag declutter series. This is bag number 12, and quite honestly it was one that I really was putting off, and I'll explain why in a minute. I can remember this, when I would go into my closet and randomly pick a bag, and this one came up like 2 other times, and I was like, no, I'm not ready to do this one. And I put it back and picked a different one. That happened to me twice, and it finally ended up being the last bag because I really was reluctant to go through this bag, and there are 2 reasons for that. And here they are. And I'm sure going like, what? Why? And I think the reason why I was so reluctant to address these palettes is because I have so much respect for Emily, and I think she is brilliant, and she's someone that I really look up to and admire here in the YouTube space. And I pretty much had an idea of how that was going to go with these 2 palettes. So without further delay, let's go ahead and go into some of the actual live footage where I used both these palettes and what I had to say about them. The products I used today are the Stila One Step Primer, the Dr. Jart Dissapore BB Cream, which I don't think they make anyway, but it's a beautiful match for me. And I really love the Dr. Jart BB Creams. The MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and the shade is NC15. The rest of the products on my face all are coming from Emily Edit, the Needs palette. I'm really working hard to try and decide, is this something I want to keep or not? It really leans very warm tone, and I just don't love it on me. So, I think this is something I'm going to declutter. While I think this look is pretty today, I had to work pretty hard to get a look I like. I don't particularly care for this blush. I tried to use this shade on my lid, and it's just, I didn't care for it. So I ended up going over it with this dark shade to make it really smoky. Primarily the shades I've used are these 2 middle shades, these 2. A little bit of this, but it's kind of looks orangey on me. Love Emily, not a super fan of that. I'm also not sure if that's available. Not that that matters, because I keep a lot of palettes that aren't available anymore, but just FYI. And on my lips I have this Pixie lip balm, the Shea Butter lip balm in Natural Rose. Yes, I have 2 of these. I think I'm gonna bring this one and put it in the kitchen. So I'm going to kick it off with the face products I used. In this bag was the Born This Way foundation, and this shade is warm nude. So my skin tone has definitely changed over the years, especially after using Curology. There was a brightener in there, so I do feel like my skin tone is not as dark as it was before. So I did a little cheek swatch and decided it was just gonna be way too dark. So this is definitely gonna be something I declutter. But on the rest of my face, I used a couple of drugstore products and one higher end product, which I'm pretty sure they don't make anymore. So I used the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. Here's what the packaging looks like. Here is the product. It's gigantic. Why do they make bronzers so big? But I actually like it because it's kind of a cool tone bronze. And I just used it in my contour a little bit here today, and I think it came out pretty. So I do like that. So the other thing I used was the Burt's Bees blush in Shy Pink. It's pretty. I have so many blushes though. I find this to be a little chalky feeling. The color is pretty, it applied fine, but I do think I'm going to declutter this because I have a lot of other blushes that I like a whole lot better. So the last thing I have is this little sample from Burberry, and it's called Fresh Glow. It's a little highlighter. It's like a cream, like a, I don't know, maybe even like a liquidy highlighter, but really pretty. Like, I would probably keep this just for grins to use up. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it's been discontinued. Then on my face, I used this palette, the Emily Noel, the Wants from Makeup Revolution. In case you don't remember what it looked like, it's got a ton of different shades. And when I first opened this bag, I thought, oh, I'll probably end up keeping this palette because I don't have too many like super colorful palettes that have a lot of choices for when I really want to do maybe a little bit more colorful look. But after using it again, I remember why I never reach for this palette. It's a very warm tone palette. I would say more than 50% of this is warm. And even shades that look like they're going to be cool, for instance, I keep making a lot of noise. I use these two shades here. This is Belle Violet and Family. And they look pretty cool, cool toned. And they don't translate that way on the eye at all. I did also use Prayer in the crease, which is a little bit warmer. It definitely overpowers the look. I tried toning down Prayer with Hobby, but it didn't really work. And I feel like that's the story in this palette in general. It's just way too warm, and even the colors that you think are going to be cooler toned end up looking warm on me. And so as much as it hurts me to do this because I love Emily so much, I did support her by buying both of her palettes, but I'm not going to keep this. I think I have other palettes that have some little pops of color in there that I like better. It's just, you know, these are all so warm. I just don't think I will ever reach for it. So I don't want to give it room in my collection anymore. And on my lips today, I'm using NARS Dolce Vita. To wrap up testing on the products that were in this lucky bag, I did repeat a few things on my face today. I used the Dr. Jart BB cream, and I used the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. Also, one of the things I really like about this, not just that it's cool tone, but it has just a little bit of glow in there. I think that's pretty in this swatch, a little bit of a glow. Today, I used it a little bit more all over the cheeks and along my hairline. Who am I? I don't usually use bronzer that much, but today I did. And again, went with the Burt's Bee blush in Shy Pink. Hasn't changed my mind. I'm still decluttering that. And the little highlighter from Burberry. The products that I needed to test out for today were a duo, an eyeshadow duo, and eye pencil. On my eyes today, I'm wearing a little Urban Decay duo, a little split pan duo. One side is Sin, that's the lighter side, and the darker side is Mushroom. And this, I remember getting this in a Sephora Favorites box, and these are two of my favorite shades from Urban Decay. I love the shade Mushroom. I think it was in that smoked palette, the one with the zipper case around it. That was like one of the neutral shades in there, and Sin, of course, was in the original Naked palette. I still like this. It is a little has a little more shimmer than I'm used to wearing these days, but I don't hate it. The other thing was another duo pencil from Urban Decay. These that came themed towards each one of the Naked palettes. So the lighter side is called Venus, and the darker side is called Crave. I have literally no use for this. I don't get these flesh toned eye pencils. I tried rimming my lower lash line. It does nothing. I just don't understand that. And this Crave is dry enough that I can pull it out of the pencil. The pencil itself is still okay, but I think I'm gonna declutter this because I only really care about this half, and I have other eye pencils that I think will do the trick. And to wrap it all up, because I didn't have a great lip color in this bag, I went ahead and grabbed this little sample from Tom Ford. The shade is 03 Casablanca. So clearly I had quite a deep emotional attachment to those two palettes, and it was hard for me to make those decisions, but I'm glad I did. I'm at peace. I'm at peace with that decision. It's just makeup after all, and I'm ready to move on. So out of the bunch, I ended up keeping 5 products out of that bag, and I'm ultimately getting rid of 9 products. There were a couple things that didn't make it to those 3 different clips, and one is a sheet mask that was in that bag. I ended up using this morning. I was like, just use it, enjoy it, and include it in today's video. How to say this? Labo? Ultimate Anti-Aging Face Mask. Just, you know, your typical sheet mask. This one had, was deep hydration with super hyaluronic acid. It was a nice mask. The couple other products that didn't make it to prime time in my video were ones that I had already decided were too dry to use. They had dried up, but I will talk about them here. One is a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Baby Tea, which looks to be like a blue shade with some shimmer. Very pretty. And I can see I used this a little bit, but if you have any of these eyeshadows, you know they do dry out very quickly. The next one is from Bobbi Brown, and it is the Longwear Gel Sparkle Shadow Liner in this shade Sunlit Bronze. And this is very dry. Like, I'm not even sure. I can barely get anything out of there. This is too dried up to even consider using. So the last one is one of the Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle lipsticks, and this shade is Madame. Like, almost like a dark reddish pinky color. I think it looks different in the stick than it does on the swatch. So that wraps up number 12, the last lucky bag. So I am planning to do a recap of this series and talk about lessons I learned, how I felt about decluttering some of these things, and just kind of an overall summary. If you have any specific questions you would like me to answer in relation to this series, go ahead and leave them down below and I will incorporate them in that video. Stay tuned for that. So I upload videos every Saturday morning, and I'll include a link to last week's video right over here. On this side, I think I'll go ahead and include the playlist for this Lucky Bag series in case you want to take a stroll down memory lane or get caught up on maybe some episodes that you missed. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.